We signed up for this home grocery delivery. It's farm fresh to you. And for our first order, we have collard greens included. So today I'm going to try and make collard greens for the first time, a vegan version. I've looked up a few recipes and I hope that this turns out good. So here are the collard greens. I've already cut them. I've already put them in the water to rinse, and I took out the stems. So they're pretty much just like cut in half and some of the pieces torn apart. I have to say, these leaves are very thick. I imagine these are the leaves that Adam and Eve must have used to cover themselves with while they were in the garden. But I'm going to get ready to chop them up. Since it's my first time making these, I'm not using a whole lot. I know they're going to shrink when they get cooked, but I'm just making enough to give this a test and see how it turns out. And so from all the videos that I've watched, they recommend rolling up the leaves and then cutting them. And so that's what I'm going to do. So I cut them into these small pieces after rolling it up and then slicing it and cutting it maybe about inch, half an inch size. And I'm going to put them into the colander again and rinse them out one more time. So I'm going to have them in here to soak for a little bit longer. You never can be too sure of making sure that there's no grit or dirt on the leaves, and you don't want any insects in there because, again, it's supposed to be a vegan recipe. So I'm going to let that sit for a little bit. Meanwhile, I get the onions and garlic ready. So I have about a half a cup of onion chopped up, and I have about 2 extra large cloves of garlic chopped up. I'm going to put them in the pan with some oil and get them stir fried. So because this is a vegan recipe, I'm not going to use any animal type fat, but I'm going to use coconut oil that I have. I just opened it up. It's a brand new bottle, and I'm going to try this option instead of using vegetable oil or canola or other types of oil. So we'll see how this works in place of the animal fat. So I got the onions and the garlic in here, simmering or sizzling, I should say. And I'm going to let this cook for a little bit to get to the next step. Okay, so I'm going to add some salt and some black pepper and mix this up some more. Okay, I'm going to add some better than bullion into this and some smoked paprika and probably a little bit more salt and a little bit of maple syrup. Okay, I'm going to add some water in a little bit, but I added the smoked paprika, maple syrup, some more black pepper, and I'm going to add some water and then get ready to put the greens in here. They smell so good. So some recipes will say to put sugar in the mix, and I'm going to try the maple syrup instead of the sugar. Like I said, this is my first time making this, so I'm experimenting. So I'm going to start off with 1 cup of this spicy vegetable broth to add into the pot. Since this is already spicy, I'm not going to add any more red pepper chili spice. So this is what the base looks like. And now I'm gonna get ready to put in the greens. Here goes. And then just mix it up, stir it, make sure there's enough liquid in here. Again, it's just a small batch that I'm making just to be a sampler batch to test it out and see how well it comes out. I'm gonna add a little bit more broth and make sure I get all these leaves in here. Okay, so I'm gonna add another cup of the spicy broth, just so it could be just below the level of the greens. Not to make it soupy, but just to give it enough liquid for it to cook in and for it not to burn. Now I'm also going to add some liquid smoke. I'm going to go with the hickory, or maybe I'll go with the mesquite. I think I'm going to use the mesquite. So I added about a teaspoon of the liquid smoke mesquite flavor, and I'm going to cut up some potatoes to have them ready to add to this once they're cooked about halfway. Okay, so I have my bowl of potatoes chopped up, and the greens are cooking. Smelling good already. And I'm going to add the potatoes in. Okay, so they've cooked for about 30 minutes and the potatoes are a little soft. I did put too much liquid in here, which I'll be mindful of next time. But because it's just such a small amount of greens, and this is the bottom of the pan right here, I don't want them to burn. So I'm going to leave the liquid inside and let it cook some more. Again, the potatoes are still a little, well, they're soft enough, but I'm going to let it cook for about another 15 minutes just to make sure they're very tender. Okay, we've been giving it another 15 minutes to cook, and I believe it is done. So now for the sample taste test. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the flame. And throughout this time, I've been cooking it on a low flame, less than medium flame, just giving it enough heat for it to simmer and cook. And I'm hoping that my husband will enjoy this meal. He's the one who inspired the recipe and the interest to try and make a vegan version. So we've been vegan since September 2019, and no animals were harmed in the making of this recipe. Those of you that are familiar with collard greens, this may not be the typical type. Again, it's my first time making this, and it's also my first time trying it. So I'm gonna see if it's tender enough and tasty, and see if this is a recipe to keep or to make some changes with it. So let's give it a try. The broth, spicy broth, made it a little bit spicy, so it is good. I believe we have a winner. Enjoy.